Formula One is back and opens the 2026 season with the Australian Grand Prix. This could possibly be the race that'll reveal about the winners and losers of the 2026 championship, be it the Drivers' Championship or the Constructors. But Formula One has got a huge problem, which has been constantly repeated by almost every channel with the same line. 2026 Formula One cars have a huge problem, as the cars will be slower and drivers will struggle to harvest energy, as Australia is a circuit with long straights. But let's not be the average channel and understand in better way why Formula One fumbled big time. In the previous generation cars, you could use the front axles to build up the harvest and have much more energy deployment, and the harvesting per lap was not restricted in the previous generation cars. But in 2026 cars, it has been estimated around 8 to 8.5 megajoules per lap in Grand Prix format and 5 megajoules in qualifying. But how does having a front axle used for harvesting be different from the rear axle harvesting? On average, Formula One cars de-accelerate all the way from 280 kilometers per hour to 60 kilometers per hour, which means more load on the front axle compared to the rear axle. First, you need to understand few terms. Twist. It can be determined as the ability to turn the car using the rear axle. In 2026 cars, more torque is exerted on the rear axle due to the bigger battery pack of 350 kilowatt. But it could turn out to be disastrous for some drivers. With only the rear axle having the deployment, there could be a situation where a driver enters the corner with super clipping, and in order to get a better exit, drivers would enable the boost mode, which would provide an instant torque, providing very strong low-speed acceleration. But how does that mean it's disastrous? Well, the rear tire could lose grip and be sent off the track at a very high speed, and could be extremely critical in tracks like Monza and Jeddah. This trick has now separated champions like Verstappen, Hamilton, Alonso from other drivers which struggle to have a hold of their car. This could be a very weird feeling as well, because now the racing might feel artificial or awkward. Turn 9 of Melbourne is a corner where drivers could potentially loose the rear of the car as you enter the corner with extreme high speed, and would be eagerly wanting to get going as soon as possible, which could catch some drivers off guard and throw them into the gravel trap or destroy the floor of the car riding the curb too hard. Although FIA might come up with ideas where the peak deployment might be limited to 250 kilowatt instead of 350 kilowatt, so the energy can last longer and the lift and coast can be minimized. Heavy tire degradation could be seen as the drivers would want to driver on higher RPM for the energy harvesting and twist the rear axle for better rotation. Overheating tires won't be the issue unlike other tracks, as the expected temperature for Sunday would be around 24 degrees Celsius. If we were to predict the finish order for the race, then Verstappen and Leclerc could go neck and neck for P1, as Red Bull significantly turned the car down around 30% during Bahrain testing to hide their pace. P2, George Russell as Mercedes struggling with fuel. Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton could be fighting for P3. Hamilton revealed that he had spent the over 9 months in the 2026 sim. Whilst every other team would be out there trying to fight for points, Aston Martin would just trying to keep their car intact, as the rumors for the Silverstone-based team started with gearbox issues, which then got directed towards the energy harvesting, and now both Aston Martin and Honda has confirmed that the biggest issue with the 2026 car is vibrations. The vibrations are so bad that it could damage the battery pack within just few laps. Alonso described the vibrations are so bad that after 25 laps of racing, he would suffer with a nerve damage, whilst Lance Stroll stated that driving this car feels like being sat on a chair and getting electrocuted. So don't be surprised if you see both Aston Martins retiring either after the formation lap or few laps after the Grand Prix started. Race start procedures are once again changed, where all the drivers will complete the formation lap, and after all the cars on grid are in their boxes, the green flag would be waved, after which a 5-second countdown would be initiated before light go out. Although this is different from Bahrain, where the drivers had 10 seconds before lights went out. Let me know, what do you think? Who would come out on top?